Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the very first episode of Delhi. Even though I'm playing as the Nawabate of Sirhind, which one day, and hopefully in this episode, that we will become Delhi, because, well, this event is going to happen. But first, let's have a background. The Lodi Dynasty of Sirhind, founded by the Turkic Mamluk dynasty in 1206. The Delhi Sultanate began as a regional power in the Indo-Gangetic Plain under the Tughlaq dynasty. It grew into the largest Indian empire the world had seen since the Guptas. The empire spanned from Sindh to Bengal, from Kashmir to the Coromandel coast. The Tughlaq Empire collapsed as quickly as it rose to power. Though it is a Muslim state ruling over millions of Hindus, its downfall was orchestrated by the ambitious Muslim generals rather than popular Hindu resistance. In 1347, the entirety of southern India was lost in a revolt of General Alauddin Hassan Bahman Shah, who declared himself the ruler of the new Sultanate of Bahmanis. More recently, the Sultanate suffered a catastrophic blow when the Sharqi governors of Jaunpur broke away in 1394. Taking with them a vast stretch of the Indo-Gangetic Plain, reducing the Sultanate's influence to an area barely beyond the city walls. Mahmud Shah, the Sultan of Jaunpur, eyes his neighbors hungrily. He has designs not only on the throne of Delhi, but also on the nearby Bengal Sultanate and the Gajapati Kingdom of Orissa. The Sultan's ambitions threatened to engulf all of northern India. The final nail in the Tughlaq's coffin came with the brutal Timurid invasion of 1398. The fearsome warlord had no intention of beginning a conquest of India, instead setting his armies to loot and burn and massacre all that lay eyes upon. In the midst of the chaos, the Tughlaq dynasty was finally overthrown by the Sayyid governors of Delhi. The upstart Sayyids had thus far entirely failed to put an end to the catastrophic facing the Sultanate. Only the Rajputs of Bangladesh remained truly loyal to the Sultan during this period of ruin. Just as the Sayyids rose from governors to sultans, another powerful governor has risen in Sirhind. Bahlul Lodi, an Afghan noble, is an extremely adept governor and military leader. His control of the Punjab gives him a dangerous degree of power, which he is likely to leverage in a bid to seize control of Delhi itself. The Sayyid Sultan hides in his palace as Lodi gathers his strength in preparation for a rebellion. The Delhi Sultanate is in the midst of collapse. Many covet the throne, or will the new conqueror rise to restore the Sultanate, or shall be consigned to history as a symbol of doomed ambition? Alright, now let's look at the religion here. As obviously, Sirhind is Sunni Islam, which gives us a 100% chance of new layer and a 10%, plus 10 for cavalry to infantry ratio. Sunni rulers have a piety value that measures what type of piety to promote in their society. Piety ranges from mysticism to legalism, with different bonuses on the different ends. My society moves towards legalism through choices in events, declaring war on infidels and heretics as well as converting provinces. I move towards mysticism by declaring war on fellow Sunnis through the choices in events and other interactions. Other religions in the Muslim group are Shia and Ibadi. Sunni is by far the largest religion in the group. All Muslim countries belong to a school that gives different bonuses. Schools also have opinions of each other that change during the course of the game, and that will have an effect on the relations between the countries that follow them. The countries following the schools can invite scholars from other schools to combine their bonuses for 20 years. The Hanafi school gives us the following modifier, and that is minus 5 reduction of administrative technology cost. Most Sunni Muslim countries in the game, I believe, follow the Hanafi school. And this is a Punjabi Nawabate, even though we're Afghan, but everybody here in the population is Punjabi. Nawabates are monarchies which means that the ruler is in place for life and that his succession is dependent on having a designated heir. Heirs are acquired over time or through event choices. If the monarch dies before my heir reaches maturity, a regency council can take over, preventing the declarations of wars. Monarchs also have consorts that can be acquired through royal marriages, through events, or when an heir is created. A consort will rule until the heir reaches maturity instead of a regency council. My government is augmented by the estates of the realm. These can differ from country to country, but represent strong interest groups within my country that can give me powerful benefits if they are loyal and influential. An estate might also be a great hindrance if it is too disloyal or too influential, however. Their influence and loyalty can be increased through choices and events, as by distributing a greater share of my crown land to them. All governments use government reforms. These reforms gradually add distinctive bonuses to a government over the course of the game. Reforms are unlocked by the accumulation of reform progress points, which are passively gained at a rate determined by the average autonomy level of my provinces. And finally, the environment of it. As I'm playing in Asia, which a tributary state is special subject title is most common in East Asia. A tributary relationship that requires that the overlord either belongs to the Eastern religious group or uses the Ord government type. The overlord will protect their tributaries against attacks from non-tributary states in exchange for regular tribute payments. Apart from this, that tributary states can have their own independent diplomacy. They can fight their own wars internally against other tributaries under the same overlord or externally against outside powers. Which, keep in mind, that applies to tributary states under the Ming Dynasty, the Ming Empire. But here in India, matters very little to none. Irrelevant of what we're about to get into. Let me take a drink. Again, I had to read all this text out loud because I know many of you viewers who are watching this video have played EU4 themselves and know what the game is all about. But there are people who subscribe to my channel who've probably never seen this before. So I can't give out the full details of everything, like it's a tutorial or something. That's what tutorials are for themselves, if you were interested in playing that game yourself. But then again, you've seen my videos on my channel from games like Crusader Kings 2 and Imperatorum, the other two Paradox Interactive titles that I played. And EU4 is considered the flagship game of it. And yes, I have all of its DLCs, as I will hover the mouse over the said DLCs of what they are. I'm not going to read them out loud to you, but still. I have played about over 500 hours of EU4. Although, even there is a little thing on the hints and tips in loading screens, where they said, even if you have played the game for about thousands of hours, you could still learn something new. Hell, I'm still learning today, to the point where I'm gonna do this very first playthrough here on Lord Master channel, for EU4 on the Lord Master channel, as Sirhind will soon become Delhi. And what else? My original first playthrough was originally going to be Croatia, but I found out it was a tad bit difficult. I mean, yes, you can gain independence, all that, but as an independent nation, what the heck are you going to do? Join the HRE? Or become an independent entity where it's kind of hard to make friends these days, and you don't make as much money because of the low development of the land. And so I had about 5 more choices of what countries I should play as in my mind. But the country that I played the most and had the most experience in was Lubeck. But I believe that would be another playthrough in itself that would be suitable. But I want to do this first. And a part of that is due to my fascination in Indian history and whatnot. And here's the last DLC that's been released about a few months ago. Leviathan. Even though I was aware of the past couple of updates that they've put in the game after I found so many bugs and all that, to the point where it got, I don't know. Let's just say I kind of held off on buying the last DLC until updates fixed most of it. And And after I played some more, and I haven't encountered any problems yet, but I just think it's good enough for me to do my very first EU4 playthrough, Europa Universalis 4 playthrough, here on the Lord Mass channel. So, there you have it. Orange is the color, or is that saffron? It's one of these two, which is, you know, Sirhind, the country that I'm playing as we are a vassal to our next door neighbor, the Delhi Sultanate, even though it's kind of weak at the moment and all that. Because when you zoom out, the Delhi Sultanate controlled nearly all of India except for the central parts of it around here. And it kind of collapsed under its own weight and rebellions, including the Brahmins, as we've mentioned them before, which these guys are Shia, one of the few Shia in India. And they follow the Jafari school, which they do not like the Hanafi. Which, you know, that's most of the Sunni schools. Don't worry about them. What you should worry about is Delhi here, that's ruled by a sultan who is very low skilled and is a babbling buffoon. So they'll disclose their attack plans ahead of time, as their enemies are the Timurids and Mila, which Mila is an independent Rajput kingdom, as they are Hindus, you see. And now our ruler is, we mentioned, Bahlul Lodi, which he's practically good with all skills. But he's a much better military leader, as he is strict, because that adds discipline up, due to taking a great interest in the behavior of the troops. Our ruler is able to instill a strict discipline in everyone on ranks, from the lowest to the highest. He's also a conqueror. You'll find out why, as we will be able to incorporate new lands in our realm more efficiently under this new regime. He's also industrious, so that adds more goods produced on the fire. So, never content to rest. Through increasingly long work days, our ruler is constantly managing the details of every province in the realm to maximize the output and collected revenue for all resources under state control. I forgot to mention 5 years. Reduction, 5 years of separatism. Speaking of that, let me open this outliner. Only got 2 diplomats for now. 2 merchants, maximize profit. One's transferring trade power from here to Lahore, and so the merchant here in Lahore to collect the said trade. See? Transfer some of that power to here. And that's where we'll collect. These are, you know, the trade notes that belong to. Even though in actuality, let me see. Yes, we have the highest trade power here. As far as the world map is concerned, this is how much the world is known to us here. As far as the southwestern coast of Mozambique, all the way to parts of Indonesia, and a little bit of China, including Beijing, which we are aware of its capital. And the Chagatai up there too. Even as far away as Egypt. And you do not see the Ottomans on the map, which we aren't aware of their existence in that part of the world. In other words, in Indian Sultanate area here, we don't care what the what these guys over there, the Turks, the Ottoman Empire is up to over there. Should not be concerned of that. Let's see. And as you can see, the estates. Let me bring that up on the screen. That for an average country, you would have 3 estates, an average kingdom, so to speak. You would have you know, three estates: the nobles, the burghers, and the clergy. But here in the Indian Sultanate, it's rather special. You got five. You've got the Brahmins, which are a priestly caste of Hinduism. They are the keepers of ceremonies and scriptures. As few non-Brahmins are educated in Sanskrit literature, they command great respect from Hindus and non-Hindus alike, sometimes take roles in government. And there's the Emirs. This estate represents the families of landed aristocrats in my country. Their privileges are guaranteed by old traditions, and mostly have originally been won through performing great services to the state. Their traditional responsibility is to fight and protect the realm against outside dangers, as well as help the ruler keep the peace. And you got the Jains. Jainism is no longer a dominant or politically favored faith in India, but the Jains are far from irrelevant. They have found a niche in money lending, and bureaucracy makes them an asset to any state that offers them patronage. The ulema. This estate represents the educated priests of my state religion. They have a long tradition of serving in administration in my country, and their traditional responsibility is to care for the spiritual well-being of it and my people. Over the centuries, they've acquired both land properties and privileges from former rulers as well as pious individuals. And finally, the Rajputs. The Rajputs are an ancient caste of honorable warriors and proud nobles. While the rugged land of Rajasthan is the heart of their power, Rajput nobility can be found throughout northern India, and many great Rajas claim Rajput descent. Rajput in Sanskrit means son of the king. And I would describe the Rajputs, they're kind of like the Spartans in the sense of their upbringing, of the whole military training and whatnot. But they function, however, like the European knights for their codes of honor and chivalry and all that. But they are always they were never a united entity. They never had their own kingdom like a united Rajputana. That's the reason you see countries like Niva, Desabu, Bangladesh, Bahlul, all that. They're Rajput kingdoms. They're all independent of one another. But those that live inside there, then they serve under us as an estate. Alright, anyways, what's my goal for this series? Well, obviously gonna become Delhi when we take the area, because our first army, well, the ruler, I mean, look at this stats. 4 fire, shock is 5, maneuver is 4, and siege 2. A 3-star general. You could say 1-star general is like average, 2 is, you know, good, and 3 is, you know, like the best. I mean, that's not my best description of these sort of things. So in other words, yes, that man will lead the Sirhind into victory. I mean, look at our liberty desire, because we don't particularly like Delhi, as the Sirhindi attitude towards him is disloyal. Because, you know, historically, Bahlul Lodi rose up against the Delian overlord and fought against him, and become Delhi Sultan themselves, but ruled by a different dynasty. As we're gonna kick the old Sayyid Dynasty out. Interestingly, both of my diplomats are both named Sayyid Qadiz. Names are randomly generated. Nusrat Jahan, Sikandar Khan. Okay, these are, again, randomly generated, not, you know, stored. Exist. Now, they tell me that I can enact a taxation policy, and knowing that we will be expanding, so it would be wise to have land acquisition, which will reduce the core creation cost. That's going to be for 20 years. And there's 3 national decisions available here. But knowing that, you know, soon we'll be fighting against Delhi and take Delhi for ourselves, as one of the national decisions is Sultan of Delhi. So we have to take that area, and then we'll become that. You know, it does say that, you know, we are Afghans, but Hindavi will become a primary culture once this hostility is over. But for now, I'm gonna adopt the title of Khalifa. As I said, feeling ambitious. This is just for yearly prestige. Because need to get some prestige. More so when you win battles and wars. There's only one rebel faction. Muwari Separatists. Which I don't think they'll rise up anytime soon. Especially what we're about to get into. Trying to think of another what to do. Oh. The other thing I'm concerned is Jaunpur, which that one is stronger. Oh. We have this many, right? Delhi only has this much, but we have a very strong general that can defeat any army. Whereas Jaunpur, are far larger. But there you have low manpower reserves. So. If you want to, you know, rebuild the Delhi Sultanate from the ground up, we gotta take Delhi and then beat the heck out of Jaunpur. But Jaunpur, you know, has rivals with Brahmins, Orissa, and Bengal. It would be wise to improve relations with the Bengal Sultanate, as they are mortal enemies of Jaunpur. So they will become potential allies in time, so we can gang up against them. And I'm sure we'll deal with Multan in the future as well. So keep this diplomat free while this one works on improving relations with Bengal. Another thing that I should do. Have an alliance with Bangladesh. And the reason for that is because fellow subject, we should, I don't know, work together and we both be free. Who knows? Despite the fact that we're both different religions. Me being Sunni, you being Hindu. So there you have it, and that diplomat will return in 3 days before we get down to business. Now there is one last act that I should do. That is, the states summon a diet. When you do that, all the states will gain 5 influence for 20 years and will gain 5 loyalty, even though they're all 50% loyal, but it's a start. The states of Sirhind have proposed agendas for the summit diet. For every one of these states could have large benefits in the long term. The Brahmin state of Amini Sultan is a valuable potential ally. They recommend to stay close ties with them. You sure about that? The Rajputs wish us to improve our standing among the nations by increasing the splendor of the Nawab's court. And Jains request that we invest in prosperity in the city of Patna. Improve relations sounds like that's kind of easy, but prestige is well, it could work because, you know, about to be in a war, and that the state's loyalty will not only go up a bit more, but the reward, 50 administrative power, that is a must-have. So I'll go with what the Rajputs are saying. But having a prestige of at least 30, whereas it's -5 right now, so you can only gain prestige by winning battles and winning wars, especially winning wars. So let's get down to business. And a message filter settings that I will set. We are interested in, we could go to Asia. Well, not all of Asia. Oh, dang it. Because I would like to have notifications on for Jaunpur and Bengal. We'll find them. There it is. Now, where is Bengal? Unless I missed them. Hang on. There you are. Mewat has allied with Delhi, which is that little Nawabate again. Next door. Now, I would also like to say that not only I played over 500 hours of EU4, but I first played EU4 back on summer of 2017. That's how long I've played EU4, even though I don't play it as much as the other two titles I mentioned. Hang on. Zoibadad bin Java. Stop. A woman has requested an audience in her court, and after allowing her to address the Nawab, she's asked to be allowed to erect walls, reservoirs, and artificial pools along the route to Mecca and Medina to provide water for the Muslim pilgrims. Her name is Zoibada Med Jaffa, the wife of one of the Muslim rulers nearby. Well, the Rajputs want me to be prestigious, so here's another way. Help her with her holy work. I'll put my money in that. That's an interesting random event. Now, anyways. And, what else? Although, in fact, I did a Delhi Sultanate playthrough of sorts on Crusader Kings 2 on my 5-episode mini-series where I played as Razia Sultana. Yes, Razia Sultana. Which I'm sure you Indian viewers have probably heard of her name before, or you might have seen a TV show named after her, which I haven't seen episodes of other than the first one that I found on the internet somewhere. Delhi entered the military alliance with Sindhu. That's rather concerning. Because Sid can pack a punch. But a war could break out at any moment because of the historical events. The meantime between is 3 months. It didn't occur in December, but it'll likely occur in either January, February, or even March. If it gets to April, no go. And that sound you hear, that's income, because this is how much money we make. Alright, let's speed it up a little. Just waiting to happen. So, I guess it's gonna happen on March. Here it is. That's the event we've been waiting for. The rise of Bahlul. As governor of the Punjab and as one of the last remaining supporters of the Sayyid Dynasty Sultans of Delhi, Bahlul is one of the most influential landholders in northern India. He has also emerged as the informal leader of most of the Afghan nobles within the Sultanate, and many consider him to be more powerful than the Sultan himself. It is therefore no wonder that Bahlul has watched the incompetence of the Delhi Sultans with disgust. So, we'll say the time has run out for the Sayyid Dynasty. So, we will have our independence, and we'll have advanced spawned troops, and immediately declare war on Delhi to take that throne. But what I should be concerned is Sindhi intervention, because their combined forces could be devastating to us. But we'll do what we can. Head to there immediately. So whatever the general that they may bring, we ain't afraid. So here's the plan. Once we arrive there, bring 3 regiments, to take this, here, and here. While we siege Delhi, we'll occupy the rest. And then eventually Delhi will fall, and then we have the country. And then we'll be the new dynasty that runs Delhi. Cowards. They ran. Rather fight them in a pitched battle. And Bangladesh broke an alliance with us, which isn't surprising, because the reason why I did this in the first place is to prevent them from joining the war. But Sindh will still be coming. And Bangladesh has declared war on the new enemy Delhi, and they said independence. Okay then. And here's that battle. So let me slow it down for you. Of how this works. This is our discipline, and we have more discipline than they do because of, you know, who's in charge. And we have more morale than they do, despite the lack of prestige. Not to mention we have more infantry and more of the cavalry than they do, despite the good dice roll that they got. In those numbers, Papa, are the casualties. In the modes. The phases. So it is a great victory. That's how much we've lost, while they are eliminated. So Bahlul Lodi is born in the saddle. This gives him cavalry flanking ability. Hang on. Gotta move on. Now, here's what I'm gonna do. Create a new unit of this. Which you'll... No, damn it. Actually, no, you stay right there. You do as you do. And then you select that unit. That's what I didn't do. One more. Go this way. It'll be fully occupied in a month or so. And once they are done, come to Delhi. This is just to prevent them from creating any newer units. And Bangladesh is going for a millet. And yes, they're intervening in that one too. But if they threaten our territory, well then, we'll deal with that too. All together now. Now, for those that have seen my Imperator Rome videos, you just know how these sieges work then. Walls breached. This will be a lot easier now. So each of these phases and the chances of the results of the dice roll. And hopefully we get some good ones so it'll be faster for them to surrender. Especially that our general and ruler has a siege ability of 2. And leader siege. So there's 7% chance of surrender now. We'll be very, very lucky if we got that. Alright, slow it down while I read this event. One of our most famous and respected masons has approached Bahlul this morning. Serious concerns about the state and the monument in Durban. My dear Nawab, it breaks my heart to see such a beautiful structure carelessly abandoned, left to face alone in the dangers of time and weather. I beg of you, please allow me to help restore it. Great project. And gain a little bit of unrest. Oh no, I'm about to get that money and I'm gonna use it. For whatever reason, but I'll just say we do not have time for this. So, the nobles won't like it, but they'll soon learn to get over it. If I give them more autonomy, but I just believe that, well, when we end this war and get a lot of prestige out of it, they'll calm down. Oh, wait a minute, there is a monument here. I thought we never had one. Damn. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Honestly, I did not know that was there. Because I typically would only look at Lahore and Sirhind and soon Delhi, the new capital that'll be coming. Anyways, back to the siege. Speed up again. I'll do a view in the future. Defenders desert. 36% chance to surrender. Have not seen a single Sindhi army move that way. Gujarat, who recently allied with Jaunpur, which is concerning, but they've attacked Mewar. They want to go on. They've taken the objective. So where are their forces? I think we got it figured out. They're in Bangladesh. Alright, we got it. 181 days. All too easy. At least for him. And during this whole time while we improve relations, should look back on them again. I mean, yes, we're at war, but soon let's have a royal marriage. Yes. It'll bring our grubs closer together. Having one royal marriage will have fallen in effect. More yearly legitimacy, further improving the relations, and chance of the new era, even though it's rather guaranteed as a Sunni. It should be enough for an alliance once this war is about to end. We'll be back in 10 days. Well, after these 10 days, he'll be back here. Hold your position. Okay. But again, we want the whole thing. But they say no because, yeah, yes, I understand it would result in Delhi's examination or vassalization. And the war is relatively early. To be fair, yes, but it's those allies that I'm rather concerned of, so we'll probably deal with them too, or actually help them out on this siege. But should we risk our lives fighting against Sindhi troops? Occupied by Muwa. This is Bangladesh. Piecing them out would help. So let's get them out of the war. We're just gonna help our one-time ally. Multan declared war against Kashmir. Conquest. Even though we'll take a few attrition losses. Oh dear. $10,000 strong with 12,000 in manpower. Oh, it's even. If Bengal is defeated, then we lost our only real ally. Again, we're just gonna... Oh, I'm actually leader of this siege. Slow down here. Mystics and storytellers. Many along the lemma would question the great influence that storytellers have over the life of common men. The traditional hero stories of our people are centuries old, but they risk making a cult out of seriously distorted faiths of historical figures. A prominent cleric in Lahore has taken a strong stand against the storytellers of Rome and cautions that the religious scholars of the past have warned about the obsessive thinking, obsessive listening to stories could lead to false worship. Should look at this. Yeah, our party's down a little, but when you go towards, mysticism, Brahmins would like us more. But that adds more to the missionary strength. Yeah, that's for this way. But since we're in the middle of a war, and we need all that strength and morale can get, but I'll just say, there's nothing wrong in idealizing our ancestors. Yes, we move toward that a bit. Yeah, it lowers the missionary strength. But I'm sure we'll go back to it in time. Water shortage, 64, so they better surrender. Claims fabricated by Multan. This area. Okay. Get them to peace out. We're not going to take their land. What do you demand? Pay us money and war reparations and a few ducats to us, and we'll get prestige. So it'll cost us nothing in diplomatic power. That's what I wanted. I just want them peace out of the war so we can have a much favorable terms with Delhi. Oh, what's left of it. Their war is over. Wait 2 days. Okay. How about now? They still say no. Now we have to deal with Sindh. I was afraid it was going to come to this. No. I guess we'll have to sit there and wait and just drag this war on while we can, while we'll just be in friendly territory to reinforce. And, a little bit. I mean, not exactly reinforce, but you get the idea. You gotta look for more potential allies, as our only enemy is Multan. Too many relations. Gujarat could be a potential ally, but unfortunately they're allied with Jaunpur. Which is why I'd rather have Bengal on our side, and... oh no. Oh no, they were increasing the size of it. Just to try to get them up. It was for what? This area. Currently under siege. You get the idea of how much they have. I think what Bengal is trying to do is just... those troops they raised, they gotta get them together and eventually gonna fight them off and get them out of there and take the war to them. I see. I see. Just waiting for their war enthusiasm to go down. They're not accepting demands right now from Sindhu. Which I would just tell them, hey, white peace out. But I guess we'll just have to wait. Are they not under siege anymore? They've been devastated. Oh. Milwa's taking it to them. In fact, they're involved in yet another war. This will definitely work in our favor. But please remember. Just keep waiting. Alright, think about it. Bahlul's preference for the Afghan culture and language is seen a bit of eccentrically by many, but has also opened doors for us in a wider community of Afghan countries. Bahlul's been doing what he can to form closer bonds with his compatriots. One can never have too many friends. Afghanistan. Why didn't I think about that? I mean, then again, they're a vassal state to the Timurids. Which is, you know, concerning. Speaking of that, Timurids are at war with everybody. All their vassal countries except nothing. They all rose up against the Timurids. Hey, maybe we should be friends. You know, we're Afghans. We're in the same school. Yeah. Now that's a country I want to ally with to deal with Multan. But the priority is Jaunpur, which that one is a powerful country that needs to be stopped. Baluchistan got involved as well. Well, we won't have to worry about Sindhu anymore. What say you now? Can't be doing this forever, can we? Hey. Get down. Catch him quick. Took minimal casualties, but I just wanted to get rid of him. Just to add up a bit of that war score. Haha! Now we could get these guys pieced out. There we go. After one battle, they're out of here. Now Delhi is ours. In a week's time. Here we go. Full annexation. And give me all the money. So yes, this will result in 0.88 inflation, which isn't going to hurt too much. And we'll get a bunch of prestige out of it. It'll cost no diplomatic power. The land ownership of them will be modified. So yes, we win. Glorious victory. Yes, sir. Now, what was I supposed to do? Sultan of Delhi is in a state. Well, make that a state again. Increase our income. Yes. Hang on. Wait till the beginning of the month. New mercenary companies and all that. But here's the important one. Sultan of Delhi. Delhi was once the capital of the entire Indian subcontinent, and our own state is in many ways a continuation of their traditions. Let us reclaim the heritage of the Sultans of Delhi and rule the subcontinent from their ancient capital in Adua. So this is what will happen. Delhi will become the new capital, and we'll have new missions, and we're no longer going to be a Nawabate, but a kingdom, sultanate if you will. An increased centralization for 10 years, which will add up a bit of a national unrest, but monthly autonomy change reduced. And Hindavi will become a new primary culture. Fact. Hang on. The alliances. You know, allying with Afghanistan would be good, in my opinion, to fight against Multan. While Bengal, I could use them too. Don't become Hindavi yet. Bengal and Afghanistan would be good partners. While the Timurids are getting their tents kicked. So, Bengal wants to help against, you know, all of these. Yeah, I was about to say, how you doing over there on your situation? I doubt I can get to you, unless I'll ask Jaunpur for access. Which they're willing. We'll be there. Even though it's not what I had in mind, but hey. Scratch your back, you scratch mine, right? That's what the saying goes. Okay, you got it. We'll intervene, just wait for the diplomat to come here. Bring the other one back here, as we are basically best friends right now. Get to Delhi. With our combined strength, we should go against them, despite how it... Well, though, it seems even, but... Yeah. Bengal did win. I don't know if we can get there, because they'll soon take the war target. Alright, open up. We have the manpower to go on this type of fighting. I'll tell you what, since this is our new capital, it would be of most priority to build a castle here. Of most importance. You gotta spend that money somehow. And Afghanistan, let us be friends. And now one more decision. Oh, we have to be at peace first. Of course. Well, Delhi's not officially capital yet, but we're working on it. Get moving. Well, I don't know about that because of all these enemy units that are waiting. Because if we fight that battle then it would be terrible. But if we could try to, you know, get to you, well, unfortunately there's only one way. But I've got to take the relevant objective. With the Union of and Fagro and Nissa would not only gain a spouse but also a new ally in Rome. Ajuti is an old influential family and their seat at Delhi is the jewel of the Nawabate. Of course the friendship has to go both ways. And Fagro and Nissa would be expected to speak for a kin, while a Nawab will be expected to consider such advice carefully. To everlasting friendship. Delhi is the seat of the family of Nawabate. This province will be less likely to revolt and will be granted privileges, making it harder to tax or convert. Seat of strong aristocrats. Yeah. And we already have an heir to the throne. 425. Aladdin Alam Shah. Like that name. So now I bug him. It's gonna be too late to save the garrison. 2, 1. They surrendered. Now they're gonna be spread out. Stop. They have a 2-star general, but we have some experience in combat, as we have a cavalry flanking ability, but they are many. Should block them from entering this way. Never thought I would travel this far in India. This is gonna be a stupid move. But though we are separated, what if we could beat the heck out of this army and we can defeat them with ease? But you know they're gonna come up here. We'll be here on the 25th. Battle will begin on the 18th. They'll take large casualties as they have no leader. It's rather concerning. They're here now. Even though we took the river cross penalty, but can we defeat them all? Is a real question. No. No. There were too many severe casualties. Whoa, what was up with that war enthusiasm of theirs? They were low and high to the medium. Anyways, just move it a bit. They accepted peace with Bangladesh. Mahabhaji. They tell us the fall of Mahabhaji. The Mahabhaji is an empire on death throes. Once the center of the vast network of vassal kingdoms and tributary states, Mahabhaji is now little power beyond it. Sort of a Chinese support for our rivals in Malacca, as well as the rising power of Brunei, have led to the collapse of our hegemony. Worse, eternal struggle over succession threatened to tear the remnants of the empire apart from the inside. So they've lost that over there. That's from way over there. Pillaged. An alliance with the Afghans is plausible. War enthusiasm is low, so we gotta get them to peace out. That's great. Just white peace out. Quit being greedy. That means we'll finally get what we want. And that means 100% war score. Now you gotta wait for him to come back in the next 8 days. So remember, all these territories and give me all the money. So, full annexation, 145 ducats, which would result in 0.58 in inflation for Sirhind. We'll have a bit of aggressive expansion relations penalty. Oh, we gained plenty of prestige and cost no diplomatic power, because this was a reconquest war. It's to take back what is ours, even though it's my right to have the throne of Delhi. Decisive victory. mercenary companies. And we'll turn this territory into a state. It cost us a bit of maintenance a month, but increase our income by a lot. Which again, this is slightly better developed territory in some areas, would suggest. And since this is going to be our new capital, you might as well build a castle here. Use that money. Multan is our rival, naturally. Hey, Afghanistan. How's it for an alliance between us? Because, you know, we're both Afghans. Even though I'm about to undergo a cultural change. As on this particular day. Even though it took me a week to come up with a decision because diplomats have to be on a move and back and forth. So now, Delhi was once the capital of the entire Indian subcontinent, and our own states is in many ways a continuation of their traditions. Let us reclaim the heritage of the Sultans of Delhi and rule the subcontinent from their ancient capital in Nadua. So Delhi will become the new capital, and the country of Sirhind will change to Delhi. And we'll have new missions, as I never showed you the missions until now. And we will go from a duchy to a kingdom, sultanate if you will. And we'll have increased centralization as increases a bit of that national unrest and autonomy change is reduced. And Hindavi will become a new primary culture, replacing our own Afghan culture, which was just an opportunity. And we'll have permanent claims in the upper and lower Doab areas. Oud, Kandahar, Sirhind, Lahore, Srinagar, and new traditions and ambitions happens. Here we go. Our state is going through a range of changes that is rapidly changing our identity and ideals. Unless we actively work against it, we will see the ambitions and traditions of our country change as a result of this. Of course. And we have a third diplomat because it's kingdom ranked now. So these are the Delian Missions. I'm not going to show all of that because we haven't progressed to this yet. As we have assert control over Delhi. Any Sultan of Delhi, wherever the title, must directly control the core provinces in the Punjab and around Delhi itself. That we did. And now we will have the permanent claims on the Multan area, Srinagar, and Kabulistan. Kabulistan. Well, these Afghans are just going to be of some use to us, especially with dealing with Multan in the future. Regarding this. So there you have it. Subduing the Afghans, that'll help it. That'll happen later. But restore rule over Multan should be the next one. Reclaim lost territory. Which, this is why I want to fight against Jaunpur, because those lands are very valuable to us and we must reclaim it all. Even though they are militarily larger than us, but we still have our best ruler general. He can defeat anybody. And we'll use, you know, Afghanistan's help, like it or not. Even though they're all in this together. Or Transoxiana. Don't know who the Great Horde is. Sindhu is fully occupied. Now Bengal, even though they're in the middle of a war, but we need to get together. They're willing, but they're in the middle of a war here. War of independence, but no. Anyone who's allied with Jaunpur is the enemy. they could be reasoned with. I don't know. Now, Mawa is another. He's a rival to Jaunpur. Little far, but I think they can be negotiable. Them and their vassals, they will be of some use to us. So, ideally, we should ally with Mawa. But, unfortunately, they're involved in a war. Just against them. Okay. Guess it's gonna be them, after all. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Oh yeah, you got new rivals. Jaunpur, naturally. Milwa is rather a weakened state, but Kashmir is far weaker because, well, they're part of an ongoing conflict. But they're allied with the other Rajput nations. And who does Kashmir got? Nobody. They're alone on this issue. Well, in that case, I didn't like you anyway. Right, now that you're here, they are willing to ally. Common rivals. There you go. Wait next month. And since we're at peace for a moment, mothball the forts. What that is, it's to deplete the garrisons. Should only do that when it's peacetime and you need money to make. And that increases our income to this a bit. But when war will be ongoing, then they will automatically be filled up, the garrisons. Okay, I understand there's a bit of a national unrest, so we will have a denouncement of sect practices. Condemn any form of sect practice and declare all practitioners heretics. It's gone now. And use that if you feel like converting provinces, as everybody here is obviously Hindu. What else do I have in mind? But remember, gotta please these Rajputs to get that prestige up. Whereas it's gonna be going down bit by bit until we start making new friends and help them out in any way, and then we'll crush Jaunpur with all of our strength. And then Multan too. They do have the manpower. Despite the fact that I have abandoned my Afghan culture. Correct? Actually, no. I'm still Afghan, not Hindavi. Well, actually, the country is Hindavi, or Hindustani. That is the culture of the country. But the ruler is still Afghan. I see. I see. But I have no consort nor legal heir yet. But will be sooner or later. And the castle will be done in 2 years. Alright, so let's see. Yes, we have Afghanistan as our ally. That's one. No, hey, you're looking at Jaunpur. You did, yeah, allied Afghanistan are one. We're trying to make an alliance of Bengal, but I fear that we may get dragged into that war of theirs with Orissa, which, as far as siege is concerned, this one's at 7. This one's at 42, which seems relatively early on this siege. But But the real problem is that they're not just fighting against Orissa, but Garjat, Ganja, Parlakamudi, and Jaipur. So, we'll be facing more than one, and that's rather problematic. You should have bought allies, but again, it's Orissa that declared war. They were feeling confident. But they have no manpower reserves, but their vassals do, no doubt. Well, meanwhile, we're trying to make friends with Malwa. But if I do get dragged into that little conflict, I'm alright with that. But in the meantime, start drilling. So when drilling, the army gets low morale, requires full maintenance costs. Non-mercenary regiments gain army drill and contribute to army professionalism while drilling. Based on its current share of our force limit, the drilling this army gives, well, though we can afford another to make it 15,000 strong. Well, just drill right now. What little we'll get out of it will be good. Kashmir is no longer a valid rival. Choose someone else. Unfortunately, the only other is Mila. Gujarat is fully occupied? No. Yes, they're fully occupied. They've practically lost this war, so no doubt Milwar. Do they have claims? No. But I'm sure they're going to take some anyhow. Which does no good to nobody. It's rather tempting. But I believe it's for the best. Whereas we're trying to drill our army, but if we get dragged into that war of theirs, oh boy. But at least we get an idea of what they're doing. What are the Brahmins doing? Brahmini conquest. Oh, separate conflict. Mao was over there, and Brahmini's up there. And Mao was there too. Well, who's the siege leader? Brahmins. Walls just breached there. Well, they haven't called for our help yet. Bengal has occupied their capital. Are those walls breached? Yes. Well, they done took the capital, but they're about to take the war goal, the objective. But Bengal's got no manpower reserves, and neither do they. So now they're going to try to occupy everything. Just still unsure about getting involved in that conflict. Oh, I didn't know you are rivals of Mala. Well, that complicates things. And how about a royal marriage while we're at it? It's a lot. stop improving relations, and the next step is to curry favors. Hang on. That's access, military access from whom? Millet. One moment. They're at war with Millet generation. What? Attack against Millet and Bangladesh. I get Miwar and Millet a little confused. Millet, Miwar. It's a little confusing. You know, similarity in Rajput names. And just for mothballing these forts, the amount of money that we're making now. And when this province, you know, becomes less devastated, and there'll be a little more income coming in. Whenever you're done with that war, Liz. First, the Brahmins is about to take this place. Not for territorial claimant, because I think it's just to get them to peace out. Well, on the other hand, Mawa will make this one peace out, since it's rather separated right now. Just waiting for them to finish their hostilities. They've surrendered. And then subsequently we'll attack them in future conflict, which Gujarat won't be there. It's just the little vassal states that you would deal with. You do have a truce? When? Oh, it's going to expire next month. Okay. Check back again soon. Hindu zealots from Millet. Not a Rajput state, apologies. Now they're going to besiege this area. Just finish your war. And then when you, that's why I'm trying to get curry favors. I need that up, so they're more than likely to join us. Even though they are fighting another war. Afghanistan won't be there, as they'll fight another war and not enough favors. Speaking of which, if Transoxiana wins this war of independence, what does that do for the other vassal states that relates to the Timurids? Oh dear. We'll try to ally with you. Here it is. Common rivals. Another part. Plus, you are getting your can kicked. They've taken the objective. What's going on over there? You can call us for help if you need to. Their war's just wrapped up. Mawa will join if I were to owe them territory. Which I ain't gonna do that. Just simply need to get at least 10 favors. It's 3 right now. And Bengal, well, they're in debt, war exhaustion, no manpower. Just call us for help and we'll be there for you. I can't join your wars. Hold on, I'm talking to the wrong person. I can't join your wars unless you ask us to. And we're done improving relations with you. Which, in the meantime, should curry favors of you, you know, just in case. I really love that they added the curry favors feature as another way of getting the allies to join your wars. Too late. Oh, here we go. We better get over there now. Unhappiness among the artisans. Conflicts and protests over taxes, corporations, trade, and customs policies are becoming quite frequent. It could result in a sharp drop in industrial production if we don't handle the situation carefully. Oh, don't do that. Eek. But don't worry, we made pretty good fortune here. Abolish a tax. Have to do that. Well, the drilling has stopped. We didn't get much out of it, but it gives us a little bit more to land fire damage, shock damage, fire damage, and shock damage received reduced. And slightly more movement speed of what little time that we had drilled. Because Bengal can't handle it anymore. You were able to take over one of the vast territories, which means you could piece them out. What's the capital of Bengal? Is it Gauda? Yes. Oh, thank you. When we come back to Delhi, I'll be sure to close it on you and then declare orders. On our way. It's a good thing that the forces are separated. Despite how it looks. But they're taking more territory. Their navy's not duking it out. Uh-oh. 2-star general. Kapendra is his name. 3, 5, 2, 1. Compared to Bahlul 4, 5. Well, we could win, but we need to come. We need to attack from up there to get to Gauda, because they're going for the capital. Wait for the morale to go all the way up. Don't come into battle without low morale, you know. They're about to get in a fight. And they'll still be supported. There were 2 generals and no generals. Problematic. But I need to save Bengal's behind before, you know, they get devastated. In fact, Speed are devastated. Yeah. They're really putting a hurt on each other. But we need to save them. Mewar will say Ranta to go to Mewat. Ah. Bangladesh will be pillaged by Mewat. War reparations and all that. But now they gotta deal with Hindu zealots on their end. And it's possible they may convert to Hinduism. We'll attack in a month. Good harvest. 1448 has been a particularly good year for Delhi. Did a good harvest generate higher incomes than ever before. We make a fairly modest income, and what am I going to do with all that money? Hire mercenaries? I could, when we fight against Jaunpur, the free companies and all that. And I need more administrative power to get up to Tech 4. Because you want to get the ideas as early as possible, so invest the money. So in 2 years' time, we'll get there. Now, don't see any enemy reinforcements, so due to lack of control hostile fortress, the Order C will be the attacker in this combat, not us. Unfortunately. What do you mean unfortunately? I mean we'll be defender. You know, defender's advantage. Oh, meanwhile, the hell's... disciplines are similar. But they're about to receive reinforcements, and this one's going that way too, so it's anybody's game. But these are mostly forces from Orissa itself. All we need to do is kick them out, take their war objective back, help what's left of the Bengal army, and come back home. We have the manpower to do so. Let's move out. Morale's full. See how this goes. Dice rolls seem to be about even, but they have slightly more morale than we do. Although I have this, and he has no leader trait. And we've drilled a little, and we outnumber them. It's a win for us. Take it 2 forts, but retake the war goal. Retake the objective. Bengal's been cut off. There's not going to be much of them left, unfortunately. Of course, they have the navy. They can board them and get around as easily. This is sad. They just raised the free company for the time being. I'll be sure to remember that when we go to war against Stronghold. Get the free company. They're the cheapest mercenaries that money can buy. House of Tuluk. With the union of Bahlul and Razia, we have gained not only a spouse but also a new ally in law. The Tuluk is an old and influential family, and their seat in Lahore is the jewel of the Sultanate. Of course, the friendship has go both ways, and Razia will be expected to speak for her kin, while our Sultan will be expected to consider such advice very carefully. To everlasting friendship. Although, we don't know if this is the same Tuluk dynasty that the Sayyid overthrew. May never know. Don't name it after me. That's not a good stance. Don't name it after me. Mubarak Shah. What's his name? And Raziazar Sultana Begum, who is way better skilled than my heir. Mewat has become vassals of Jaunpur. Damn. Now, normalizations of relations between the Hanafi and the Ismaili. For some time, the relationship between the Hanafi and the Ismaili has been strongly colored by distrust and conflict. Some scholars gone as far as to denounce the theologians to the other school and their followers. However, tensions have been greatly less in the recent years, with the Delian Hanafi and the Kwara Koyunlu Ismaili scholars leading the way towards tolerance and coexistence. God is great. Can invest in this new technology. Pikes ground. This gives us a little improvement in military tactics and land morale increased, so we'll fight slightly better in battles. Bengal has no manpower, and neither do they. We've retaken the objective. Don't surrender. I'm trying to make them submit. But it's only Bengal that does the negotiations around here. I think they can liberate the land themselves, so let's do some damage. A little bit of prestige. Every little bit is good. Occupy this and take this fort down. So Mewat became vassals. Which is not good, so that means they got back up. That's for starters. Their war enthusiasm is low. Isn't there a way to switch control to another ally? Yes. Because I mean, we're not going to make territorial gains, so it's best to give it to Bengal. They're the ones that are going to negotiate. We're just intervening for a supposed ally. Two forts. This one doesn't even have a fort. It's just a capital fort. And now a marketplace. Adds more trade efficiency, as well as the trade range. Which we can build a marketplace, which you should build it at a capital, if you can afford it. Says. Walls breached. There's real progress. Oh, by the way, same dynasty. Hey. And you could say, well, what happened if the monarch dies since he has no legal heir? Then a pretender will rise. There's no personal unions. I don't think it works that way. At least it's far to my knowledge. Slow down. enjoining right and forbidding wrong. Muslims are encouraged in the Quran to take an active role in their community in order to enjoin right and forbid wrong. All these commands have been interpreted by many ways by Muslim scholars. Temples. Reduction efficiency, yearly corruption reduced. Now it's going to take 10 years or so to get our first national ideas. It was sometimes used by reformist groups to justify the forceful spread of the more extreme views. A group of charismatic mosque preachers in Delhi have begun calling for an end of unorthodox religious practices and inciting the populace against the Sufis, leading to violence and street battles. Again, I'm going to need a little more than this because the morale of armies, this sort of thing. So, offer them our support. But don't do it all the way. Actually... Again, one of their vassals. It's going to take a while to recover before we finally go up against Jaunpur. But they're starting to restore their manpower reserves a little, so they have the ability to create more regiments. Declining power of the emirs. As both influential landowners and traditional work class in our state, the emirs have not fared well lately. Through a combination of excessive infighting and poorly coordinated power plays, the emirs lost influence in Delhi, and many have retired to their properties in the countryside. So they lost a couple of that influence for the next 15 years. Now there's the Renaissance. Travelers speak of the great rebirth of old ideals in faraway lands. It is hard to treat such rumors seriously, though according to the reporters, great secrets have been uncovered by the thinkers of this Renaissance. This changes everything. It starts in Italy, and it's going to take a very long time to get here. And this war has come to a draw. Thank God. White peace. Well, got a long way back home. We will rebuild our strength so the manpower is good enough. And then, oh, mothball the forts. It's peacetime. Because we're not in war of any kind. Glad you're with us. Now we can use this money. Again, Jaunpur has the strongest trade power. What's ours? 15. Jaunpur 26. But you can build all these kind of buildings in all these areas. We had a trade power, but Afghanistan has aha, market town. And they do hold a market for him, but same for us here. Well, in this case, build one in Lahore. Was going to build it in Delhi, but when we beat Jaunpur in the war, then we will have a stronger trade note out of anybody. But for now, start drilling again. We'll wrap up this episode soon. And I can only hope that Bengal will recover, because I know for a fact that Mawa will be there because we owe them enough favors. Bengal will not because they are in debt, they're exhausted, no manpower. Oh, and that's that military access thing. We can stop that right now. Cancel that. Just for reference. Um, and again, just looking at things here. Afghanistan probably won't be there, but where you going? Okay. Timurids have lost that war. They only have one vassal, Fars. We can confirm that Afghanistan is an independent sheikhdom, which they will no doubt help us out. But, however, they are just as exhausted as the Bengali is. Well, in that case... Now, listen. If I need their help, then... You know, in favors, and... Then, just trying to think of my head. Once they're no longer war exhausted and get their manpower up, which the manpower is just not there. So begin currying favors with them. I just need all the help I can get. Because if we were to start that war right now, yes, they outnumber us greatly. And Gujarat will be there too, despite the fact that it's in debt and out of manpower. There is room for one more potential alliance. The real question is, who would that be? Mewat is a Hindu country now, but is a vassal. Just looking for other potential. The Brahmins don't like Mawa, but neither do they like Jaunpur. Not the same religion as another problem as they are Shia. Milwa really do not like us. This one's a bit more friendly. Small, but you have plenty of manpower. Every little bit helps. Because of friendly attitude. Well, some countries are more friendly than others. Same for this one, but up there, further, that's a bit longer away, but... Tribal kingdom. Look, the skill of our general will no doubt defeat any army, but we just need at least 10,000 manpower in order to defeat the forces of Jaunpur and their vassals, which they have. Well, they're annexing them currently, so that means more territory to them. But low manpower reserves, they were in a war recently. And save up money to get a free company, because we're going to need a lot of men. So hopefully in this next episode we will start making a fortune, get a lot of manpower, hire mercenaries, defeat Jaunpur, then we will be in a very good position that the Delhi Sultanate will recover greatly. But we hope you'll join us in the next episode. But until then, so long for now.